Hi there, this is Ronnie, Amber's Night, coming at you with a video. I posted a thought on Facebook. I'm going to expand on it in this video uh, because I think it's an interesting topic that perhaps could be worth a conversation. The question I asked on Facebook was, were there certain rule systems that by default you would never ever use uh, or run a game for teenagers? I have had or had access to a fair amount of role-playing games in my time. And I'm not going to talk about a lot of games that I've never really had a chance to run. I'm going to stick to my own. And the overwhelming majority, I could run a game for teenagers. Um, Even sort of darker material, like say some of the Warhammer 40k role-playing games or Warhammer Fantasy role-playing, um, I could run an adventure for teenagers. It would mean dialing down some of the darkness, not emphasizing some aspects so much. I reckon I could do it. Even something that is as nihilistic as Call of Cthulhu, I reckon I could run. I have done for teenagers. Excuse me. I've run it by sort of changing the tone, augmenting the tone slightly, and running it very much in the style of an Indiana Jones or one of the Mummy movies. And although that's not pure in terms of Cthulhu, I think it fits enough in that it doesn't look completely separate. I mean, you can tie it into the mythos somehow, but you can lighten, and by lighten the tone, I don't mean lighten as in make it humorous and funny and all the rest of it. I mean, you can make that dark a little less dark enough that you can get a game right. Now I know people have commented on Facebook, and I'm very aware of this. I know that not all teenagers are the same. People mature at different levels. There are young teenagers who could handle very mature subject matter, and there are adults who simply can't handle even the basis of mature subject matter. And yet, I think we all have our lines in the sand. And for me, there are two games that I own that for me I would never allow for a teenager to play because of the way I run them, the way I interpret rules. One of them is Nephilim by Chaosium. It is a very dark urban fantasy game. It deals with a lot of mature and interesting subject matter and concepts that I'm uncomfortable dealing with younger players and those concepts. Am I assuming all teenagers are the same? Yes, to an extent, and it's terrible to do so, but I do like to err on the side of extreme caution at times, and this is one of those times. The other game is Cult. I saw someone on the GM's table when they were doing the round robin the other day, someone remarking that Cult was basically Cthulhu but less forgiving, which is as apt a description of Cult as I've heard. It is supremely dark and nihilistic and hopeless in terms of the characters, the chances of survival in the long term. It is horror at its most horrendous. And for me, I think it's a very mature game that needs mature players. And yes, as I say, there are teenagers, no doubt, who are mature enough for it, and there are adults who no doubt aren't mature enough for it. But you have to draw a line in the sand somewhere. And for me, that line in the sand is for those two games. I have a strict no one under 18 policy on it. I personally am not comfortable playing those games with teens. Does it make me a bad person? Probably. But, you know, it's one of those badnesses I can live with, quite frankly. But it makes me wonder, are there games out there that you guys actually would never play with younger players? Or is any game, can any game be adjusted for a less mature audience and playing group? I mean, as much as I exalt Dragon Age on here because I think it's a great beginner's game, it calls itself dark fantasy, and no, I don't think so. I think it can be made dark, but equally you could play it with very little tweaking at all, and it would be a very light upbeat RPG. So as I say, I have those two. I think most other games I can tweak and turn and twist and make into a very easy, any age will do role-playing game. But those two I have a strict policy on. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this because I think it's fascinating.